Now, the world is watching closely as the Israel-Hamas war drags on. Human suffering continues and concerns over spillover remain.
Now, amidst the suffering, Hamas has released 2 more hostages. Could it be a sign of abatement? Will hostage release slow down on Israel's expected Gaza ground offensive? It is yet to be seen. But first, let's look at the latest developments. Hamas has released 2 more hostages. 2 elderly Israeli women have been set free, which Hamas says is done on health grounds. The women are 79 and 85 years old, respectively. Earlier, an American mother and daughter duo was also released by Hamas. There were some 200 hostages that were held captive by the militant group after the attack of 7th of October.
While there are some unconfirmed reports that mention that the group might be considering the release of more hostages with dual nationalities. Meanwhile, Israel continues to pound Gaza, and as per Israeli official statements, the country could soon carry its expected ground offensive into Gaza. Israeli military says it's preparing for unrelenting attacks to dismantle Hamas, and as per the Israeli chief of staff, the country, it has no intention of curbing its strikes on Gaza.
Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, during a tour along the Gaza coastline, also said that Israel is preparing thoroughly for the next step, and that is expected to be a multilateral operation from the air, ground and sea. Now, these strong statements come amid reports that there is pressure on Israel by its allies to delay the offensive. Reports indicate that the US has urged Israel to delay the ground operation to allow time for the release of hostages and shipments of aid into Gaza. US President Joe Biden has said that any discussions about a Gaza ceasefire could only take place if Hamas frees all hostages seized from Israel.
Biden also spoke with Pope Francis on Sunday and discussed the ongoing conflict. Meanwhile, as per the White House, the United States had sent a few military advisors to Israel following the October 7th Hamas attacks. And these officers have experience in quote-unquote the sorts of operations that Israel is conducting and may conduct in the future, and were again quoting over there to share some perspectives.
Now, the humanitarian cost of this war also includes the impact on children. As per humanitarian organization Save the Children, at least 2,000 children have been killed in Gaza over the past 17 days. 2,000. And 27 more have been killed in the West Bank, while 27 children have been killed in Israel, according to Israeli media.
The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees also says that 35 of its workers have been killed since the war broke out. The UN agency provides assistance and protection to Palestinian refugees in Jordan, Lebanon, Syria and the Gaza Strip, as well as the West Bank. It says many of those killed were teachers in the UNRWA schools.
Meanwhile, Hamas leaders are calling on Arab and Muslim leaders to take a stand amid soaring death toll in Gaza. Hamas political bureau chief says that the West's pro-Israel position has built a wall between Western countries and the Arab and Muslim populations that will never go away. Now, the leader further warned that Israel will never be safe until Palestinians can enjoy safety, freedom and sovereignty.
On the other hand, Israel says it has killed 5 commanders of a key Hamas military group in the 17 days since the war broke out. The IDF says that each of the commanders was a member of the Hamas aerial array, which operates a variety of weapons against Israel and played a significant role in the 7th of October attacks.
In other updates, former US President Barack Obama has warned that some of Israel's actions in Gaza may backfire. Obama says that some of Israel's actions in its war against Hamas, like cutting off food and water supply for Gaza, could harden Palestinian attitudes for generations to come. And it can also weaken international support for Israel.
Now, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has given us updates on the latest on American hostages currently being held in Gaza. Let's listen in.
An unspecified number of American citizens sought to leave Gaza through the Rafah crossing when a humanitarian convoy entered from Egypt. But according to the spokesperson for the State Department, they weren't able to do so, citing reports that Hamas blocked anyone from entering the Egyptian side from Gaza. The spokesperson for the State Department also said that the United States is not in direct contact with Hamas regarding U.S. citizens in Gaza. About 600 U.S. citizens are believed to be in Gaza. This is apart from the hostages believed to be held captive by Hamas.
Susan further elucidates us on the American stance on a possible ceasefire here. Listen in.
Asked about the possibility of a ceasefire, the United States warned on Monday that any ceasefire would benefit Hamas. This as the European Union is considering a humanitarian pause. According to the spokesperson for the State Department, a ceasefire would give Hamas time to rest and refit and continue attacking Israel. This comes as in the past few days it has been reported that the United States is in talk with the Israeli government, trying to convince them to delay the ground offensive until hostages are released. Of course, President Biden was also asked about the possibility of a ceasefire. In not so many words, he said, first the hostages need to be released, then we can talk.